Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about advantages of indirect TCP. In the last class we have discussed about ITCP, that is indirect TCP. This is one of the technique introduced in mid 19s after several research projects. Okay. Two disadvantages of TCP led to the development of indirect TCP. One is that TCP performs very poor together with wireless link. TCP cannot be used in the wireless link. Not cannot be used means it is not that it will not give that efficiency like it do in wide networks. So this is one of the disadvantage, and the other is TCP within the fixed network cannot be changed because TCP is a huge connection, and just for mobility's sake you cannot change the complete TCP. So these are the two things where it led to the development of indirect TCP after several research projects. Okay, the main goal is to increase the TCP performance in wireless and mobile environment. So that is the reason indirect TCP has been developed. And also we have discussed about indirect TCP, how it works, what is the procedure of the indirect TCP, everything in the last classes. So now we will discuss about advantages of indirect TCP. Normally, whenever anything is developed, there will be several disadvantages and also advantages. Maybe the advantages will be more, but still there will be some disadvantages because nothing in the world is perfect. So here indirect TCP is also having few advantages and also few disadvantages. First we will see about the advantages of indirect TCP. Okay. The first one is there are no changes in the fixed network necessary and no changes for the host, that is TCP protocol necessary. All current optimizations to TCP still work. That is, indirect TCP doesn't require any changes in the TCP protocol, and it is used by the host in the fixed network or other host in the wireless network also, which will not change the use of this optimization. Means all current optimizations for TCP still work between the foreign agent and also the correspondent agent. The whatever the original TCP is there, whatever the traditional TCP is there, that does not require any changes. Indirect TCP does not changed anything in the traditional TCP. It is using traditional TCP as it is between access point and fixed network, but making some changes, only few changes. It is using indirect TCP is using wireless TCP in between access point and mobile host. Okay, so there are no changes done in the original traditional TCP. So that is the main advantage, that because it is a huge network, so if at all you make any changes, whatever the users are there in the internet, they may be get disturbed. So changes to the TCP is a bad idea. So here, without changing the originality of TCP, still they have used TCP in indirect TCP. So that is one of the advantages. And the second advantage is it is simple to control, and mobile TCP is used only one hop between a foreign agent and mobile host. That is, when we are discussing about indirect TCP, we have seen that an access point is used in between mobile host and fixed network. Let me show the diagram. Between mobile host and the fixed computer, an access point is used here. Okay. There is only one hop distance between foreign agent and mobile host. So there is no much distance. means it is trustworthy. It is very simple to control because it is only one hop away from the foreign agent or from the mobile host. So it is very simple to control, and mobile TCP is used only for this one hop, and it is trustworthy. That is one of the advantage. In this only, transmission errors on the wireless link do not propagate into the fixed network. This is one thing. That is, they see no, I mean, either mobile host or the fixed computer, both are not disturbing each other. Even though transmission error occurs in between mobile host and fixed computer, there is no disturbance. Means transmission, if at all transmission error is occurred in between mobile host and access point, that is foreign agent, then that is taken care by mobile host, because mobile host will identify the gap between the gap between the packet stream, and it will start retransmitting the packet. So transmission error on the wireless link is taken care by the mobile host itself, which will not disturb the fixed computer. And transmission error in between foreign agent, that is access point, and fixed computer is taken by the access point, that is foreign agent. Whenever any transmission occurs in between fixed computer and access point, that is foreign agent, then that time it notices the transmission error, and access point will resend the packet to the mobile host. It will not ask fixed computer to send the packet again, because soon after receiving the packet, access point, that is foreign agent, will give the acknowledgement to the fixed computer. Giving the acknowledgement means it indirectly directly tells about the receiving of the packet. So that is the reason this foreign agent access point will not ask for the packet retransmission again to the fixed computer. So what it will do is, it saves the packet until it receives the acknowledgement from mobile host. So if at all packet loss is seen in the from foreign agent to the mobile host, then that is taken care by foreign agent itself. So in both cases, this transmission error will not disturb either mobile host or fixed computer. That is one of the advantages. And second is, a very fast retransmission of packets is possible. The short delay on the mobile host is known. That is, fast retransmission is taking place, and that is possible in indirect TCP, which will not which will not become a problem in packet transmission in the router or anywhere. It will not create any problem, because it is having the fast retransmission, and the short delay on the mobile host is already known, because whatever happens on the mobile host, everything will be seen, because it is having an end-to-end semantics, trustworthy. So everything on the mobile hop is seen. So there is no problem that where packet is lost, or how to send the packet again, how to retransmit the packet again, like that there will be no problem. On the mobile host, packet loss is seen, so it will retransmit the packet. And even on the fixed network, packet loss is taken care by the access point. A very fast retransmission of packets is taking place even by using indirect TCP. This is also done in traditional TCP in wired network. The same is becomes the advantage in indirect TCP also. And the next advantage is, it is always dangerous to introduce new mechanisms in a huge network without knowing exactly how they behave. Yes, TCP is a huge network, and everything is possible only with the TCP in the internet. So in the internet, there are so many users which are linked, who are linked with the TCP. So if you, just for the mobility sake, if you change anything in the TCP, it may become very dangerous because many users are connected to the TCP and all the connections may lose its connectivity. So that is the reason always it is dangerous to introduce new mechanisms in a huge network like TCP. And the main problem is if you even introduce such mechanisms to the TCP, which is the huge one in the internet, you don't even know whether it is working or not. Means testing has to be done before, and testing itself create a problem in the internet. So but here what happened, new optimizations can be tested at least last out without jeopardizing the stability of the internet. Means even though it is very dangerous, still ITCP has been tested on the wireless link, because on the wireless link we have used in the left side between mobile host and access point, we have used wireless TCP. From access point to the fixed computer, standard TCP used. Okay, standard TCP is not changed, but here in the from access point to mobile host wireless TCP, their testing has been done without disturbing or without creating any problem to the original TCP. It has been tested without creating original TCP, and now ITCP is working well. So that became one of the advantages. Even testing is a problem, but still ITCP supported and it did not create any problem because it did not put any problematic situation in the standard TCP. And the last one is it is easy to use different protocols for wired and wireless network. It is completely segmented. It is completely partitioned in ITCP, indirect TCP. Total mobility is separated and fixed network is separated, and that is segmented by using an access point. Okay, so here you can use any number of different protocols in wide network and also in the wireless network, because they are both are segmented, so they will not disturb each other. That is, if you do anything in the wide network, that will not disturb the wireless network, because access point is there in the middle, it will take care of. And if you do anything in the wireless network, that will not disturb the wide network. That is one of the advantages in the indirect TCP. And the foreign agent will now acts as a gateway to translate between different protocols. So you can use any protocols in the network. Of indirect TCP, these are the disadvantages. The first one is loss of end-to-end semantics. That is, an acknowledgement to a sender no longer means that a receiver really has received a packet, or foreign agent might crash. That is, for TCP, it is important that is end-to-end semantics should be there. Means transparency should be there in the network connection. So everything is important here. Everything should be visible. So this seems all acknowledgements after receiving the packets are very important here. So what is happening here in indirect TCP? When packet is sent from fixed computer to the mobile host, access point will look like the destination to the fixed computer. From access point to the fixed computer, standard TCP is used. So fixed computer will now send a packet to the mobile host. But in the middle access point is there. So the packet will first is received by foreign agent, that is access point. Soon after receiving, this foreign agent will give acknowledgement to the fixed computer. Means what fixed computer will think is foreign agent, the access point itself is the destination. So, after receiving the acknowledgement from the access point, that is foreign agent, fixed computer will think that its packet has reached to the destination. And what foreign agent will do is, foreign agent will, after sending the acknowledgement to the fixed computer, now foreign agent will transmit the packet to the mobile host. Means in in between mobile host and fixed computer, there is no transparency, there is no proper visibility, there is no proper end to end semantics. That is the main drawback. Means end to end semantics is missing here, transparency is missing here. End to end semantics are not there here. Okay, that is the main disadvantage here. And also what happens whenever fixed computer sends packet to the mobile host, first it will be received by foreign agent, and foreign agent will give the acknowledgement. After giving the acknowledgement, now foreign agent will transmit the packet to the mobile host. But before transmitting the packet to the mobile host, what if foreign agent crashes? Fixed computer will think that its packets has reached to the destination. But in the middle, foreign agent has crashed without transmitting the packet to the mobile host. So this becomes the main disadvantage in the indirect TCP. Okay. And the second one is higher latency possible. Means due to buffering of data within foreign agent and forwarding to a new foreign agent. And accessing whenever handover takes place, buffering of data is seen within the foreign agents. See, means first one access point will receive the packet. After receiving the packet, access point will identify that mobile host is not in its home network. It has shifted its position. Okay, so this access point have to hand over handover taken place. So now access point have to buffer the data to the another access point, and total socket migration have to be taken place. So this buffering of higher latency is there. So that is one of the disadvantage. This buffering of data from one place to another place, from one foreign agent to another foreign agent, and socket migration, this takes some uh, uh, high round trip times. This is one of the disadvantages. And the last disadvantage is security issue. That is, foreign agent must be a trusted entity. So as we discussed, what happens if the foreign agent crashes in the middle before transmitting the packet? So here foreign agent should be a trusted entity, because both fixed computer and also mobile host are trusting this access point and sending the packet here. Okay, end to end encryption is not there here, so that is why foreign agent should be a trusted entity, because the TCP connections end at this point only. So that is the reason it should be a trusted one. These are the advantages and disadvantages of indirect TCP. Though these disadvantages are seen in indirect TCP, still indirect TCP is working well with all the advantages we have discussed. So these disadvantages did not stop indirect TCP to work for the mobility. So always few disadvantages will not create any problem in the newly developed thing. Okay, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of indirect TCP. Thank you.